right? I'm now going to spin out this VM. Going to spin out this VM first with this public IP, right? Let's just do that. Go back to your this one there. And how can I release that IP? Go in a networking. Go in a network interface. Commit on that same setting and then release this one. Right now, virtual machine. This is to be waiting for that public IP to be released from here. So 3 public IP already have it here. Okay, it got released. Let me create now VM there. This will be in a VM. This VM will be in a VNet 2. Internal VM in a VNet 2. Demo RG. I'll call it as a internal VM, right? The same it is as I given in my demo, in my architecture. Again, going to be in Central India. Going to use standard and Windows 19. Okay. So, easy Hemu. Now, let's say I'm also allowing that port here just for my sake, which is not needed, but I'm doing it here. So now VNet 2, this will be, sorry, VNet 2, this will be, and in my default subnet, which is I only have one subnet there. Now public IP, I can attach this workload VM public IP, which I just released it from there. Right now, next, keep everything as it is. This is I'm creating it so that I can take that access from the firewall of my other VM. Now one thing more left, DNS zone and then VNet peering with the hub network. Okay, till the time this is happening, let's just go and create one private DNS zone. So I'll create one private DNS zone. You can search it as a private DNS zone. Private DNS zone here. So you need to create one root domain. What will be my root domain? motiopshub.com. Okay, so it will be motiopshub.com, right? This is going to be my root domain, and then web, I'll create one record for web, and then so how this is going to be work? So I'm creating one root domain, which means my DNS zone name will be motiopshub.com, right? motiopshub.com. This is my root domain name, right? Root domain, right? Now I have that URL which is working as an web dot this motiops, right, .com. How can I create that? So I'll create the record, CNAME or ANAME record with that web, and will provide that IP address. So the entire FQDN web and then this root domain, it's going to append it there. So if I'll only create the record for web, the entire URL will be web and then motiops. This is going to be appended from the root domain. Let's just do that, motiops, and then next, keep everything next. Great. Okay, this is created. Now let's do another thing. Go in that VNet and do that peering. Go in the VNet and do the peering, and then we need to also do the routing part. So I'll do one thing. VNet 3 is my hub network, which is firewall network. So I'll pair everything with this one. So VNet 1 and VNet 2, I'll do that pairing with the VNet 3. I'll open VNet 3. There someone asked the question, the route server, right? There you will get that. VNet pairing, click here. So remote pairing link, I wanted to have it that VNet 3 to VNet 1. Okay, so VNet 1. And this is what, yeah, VNet server, right? So to gateway server, route server, which you're talking about, if I do not enable this one, it won't take the traffic from here there. But for that, I need to have one VPN gateway also there, right? Because that needs to be act as the next part. So I do not need that, but this is what someone asked the question, just to tell them. You have that option while doing that peering. Now let's just see that peering link is VNet 3 to VNet 1. I'll select that forward traffic there from also. At this pairing. And then again VNet 1, VNet 3 to VNet 3 to VNet 2. VNet 2 this time. I want this to be forward traffic there and there. There and there. So pairing, yes, I'm doing it at pairing. Okay, so this is fully synchronized and connected. So both the pairing in place now. Right, private DNS zone. What happened with the private DNS zone? Okay, private DNS zone is created. I'll create one record here called my, what record? I'll create one record set and I'll create one record. So it will be web, right? Because that name which I created, and it will be pointing to what? It will be pointing to the IP address of my VM. That which VM? Workload VM 10.1.0.4. Okay. TTL values, I'll put it as a second. So it will, every time it will get refreshed in 1 second. Now next. So far you guys are getting me, right? Everybody is following me. Any questions so far? Okay, no questions. If you have getting any doubts, right? Anything which you are thinking like I'm not getting it, feel free to ask. But I'm just trying to set up this entire architecture here, right? So far what we did it, uh, this WAF configuration is done. App gateway configuration is done. Private DNS and the record configuration is also done. Workload VM with the server configuration, with the DNS configuration, where a domain name hosted is done. Azure Firewall. Azure Firewall is configured, but Azure Firewall is created, but configuration is still pending. This VM is created, but I mean the internet checkup and all that is pending. And then UDR is also pending, which points this route to firewall for this VM access, right? So that UDR is pending, and similarly the other UDR is also pending. So what is next? Let's just see that firewall. We just first create that UDR first. So record is created, right? Record is created, and then record is created. Now what can I do next? Private DNS zone VNet is created. Application gateway, traffic manager config. Let me do the traffic manager config also. And go in a settings, endpoints. Here what you need to add the endpoint. I will not get the endpoint detail. Why? If I'll enable that endpoint here, right? And if I'll, let's say, putting any name here, and if I'll select that public IP address, it's showing cannot be associated. I want to associate this public IP, app gateway public IP, but it's showing cannot be associated. You guys are getting me, right? Why it's not? Anyone can guess the answer. Why it's showing cannot be connected? Because I want to connect this, right? This IP. It's showing that, right? I cannot connect this one. It's showing me. So for that, if you see there, you need to configure the DNS name. How can I do that? Very simple. Go in a public IP address, right? And then app gateway. This is what I want to do. App gateway. And then configure the DNS naming here. Go in a configuration. This is showing you optional here, but this is mandatory for traffic manager. So let's say I'm saying it, demo app gateway. So this is going to be demo app gateway. So this is not available. Let me put something curtail. demo app gateway qad.centralindia.cloudapps.azure.com. This is needed. Otherwise, you won't be able to add that in an endpoint. So I provided that configuration, DNS labeling here. Now let's go back to your traffic manager. Now go in a demo QAT, go in a endpoint, and configure that endpoint again. So Azure endpoint, app gateway, PIP, right? I'm enabling that endpoint. I'm selecting the public IP address. I'm selecting now it can be associated. I'm selecting this one also. I'm putting that priority as in one here, right? Also enabling the head check. So it's going to identify that. Okay. Let's just to be added. And this will take some time to check the stating of monitoring status of my endpoint. Okay. Now come back here. See for the firewall. Oh, how we are good. I mean, the things are working with the firewall. So we have that firewall there. I have this Azure firewall policy. This firewall policy. Right. Go in a firewall policy here. DNAT rule, rule collection, network rule, everything is there, right? So what I'll do, I'll write one network rule. For what? I'll say that the VM which is there, the VM which is there, the VM, workload VM, right? Workload VM. What is the private IP of my workload VM? Is 10.1.4. And what is that private IP of my internal VM? 10.2.0.4. So let's go in a firewall. Write the rule. I'm writing the network rule. So you need to write the rule collection first. So right, allow, I'm saying it, allow VM access. Okay. Network rule priority. I'll be putting it like let's say 200. Right. And then action allowed. I want to allow that communication. Right. And I'll say it allow what VM1, right? Workload or work load. This is VWL workload VM to VM2 to VM2 here. Right. Similarly, the other I'll write the rule for other communication also, so that it can reach out to VM2 to workload VM. And what is that IP address of my VM? 10.1.0.4. Okay. What protocol I want? There are TCP, UDP, any, but I'm saying it, let's allow it any. What is the destination port it's reaching out? My VM will be reaching out to 80 and anything, but I'll be saying it, let me, for this demo, I'm allowing it any, which means any port they are trying to reach out. What is the destination VM they are trying to reach out? I am trying to reach out to my 10.2.0.4. But for time being, let's just do that. Let's just allow everything. I'm saying it, I want to reach out to my 10.1.04 for this demo on any protocol, on any destination to any destination, which is any IP. But the exact requirement is 10.2.0.4, right? I can put it at 10.2.0.4 here as well, right? But let me do the for this demo and putting it. But there won't be any issue because I'll be putting the DUDR very specific there. But for this one, do that. Let me 10.2.0.4 to put the everything same place. So I allowed the VM communication with that every port on IP address and then any protocol. Okay, and then let's just save that. Now one thing is pending, that is UDR route table configuration, right? Now I need two route table. I need two route table for what? I need two route table. I'm saying it two. I'll create two route table. One say I'll create RT1 and RT2. RT1 I'll specify it on this subnet, on this VNet1 workload VM subnet, right? And RT2 I'll specify it here. And I'll say it, that anything which is specifying to this VM, anything which is specifying to this VM should go via firewall. Similarly, anything which is specifying to this VM should go via firewall. That UDR I'm going to click it now. And then other thing which I left it for the DNS, I'll show it here, right? Let me go back here. Let me, the firewall rule, is it done? Let's see. Okay, so the firewall is created. Let me go my UDR. Click on route table, search on route table. Click it here. Click on the route table. I'll put it inside, okay, and I'll put it in a central India. And then I'll call it VM1, which is workload VM to VM2, right? Next, create. Similarly, another route table I need, and that is for VM2 to VM1. Do it again. If you guys are not getting it, you'll see the recording in your own pace. You'll get more answer there, right? What I'm doing it. So VM2 to VM2 to workload VM, right? And this will be again Central India. I just configure the route table, but route I need to specify there, right? Let's just see. Go in a route. If my route table has been configured, I'll configure the route. So workload VM to this one is done. Let me open this one, workload VM. So I need to specify the route. For that, come here on the routes, right? Come here on the routes and specify that towards, let's say I'm saying it towards VM2. Okay, towards VM2. What will be the VM2 IP address? What is my VM2 private IP address is 10.204. Anything which is 10.204. I'm specifying that actual route here, right? If for the firewall I allowed everything, but here I'm specifying the actual route. Or let's just do one thing, specify that entire subnet or entire VNet. So what is there? 10.2.00.24. 00/24. Okay. Now what will be the next step? Next step, my firewall, which is network virtual appliance. What is that IP address of my firewall? What is the private IP address of my firewall? Go in a firewall. You will get it from here. 10.0.04. Private IP is 10.0.04. Copy this one. Put it here. Okay. So now I'm saying it. If this is going towards VM2, which is having that IP address of 10.2.0.04, go via firewall. Go via firewall, right? And now where I need to attach it to my workload VM subnet. Where is that workload VM subnet? It is inside the VNet one. So VNet one, and what is that? One is for app gateway, but this is for my VM. So default. So route is added. Now go in a route table again, refresh, come back to VM2 workload. Similarly, I need to add a route for VM. So towards workload VM, towards workload VM. Now what is that workload VM IP address? 10.1.0.0.0. I'll the entire subnet here. What is the entire subnet? Ten one zero zero 24. Okay. That IP address of my NVA is IP address of my NVA is, I think I need to figure out again. 10.0.1.4. 10.0.1. We'll see if this will 1.4, right? So now I added the route for my workload VM also, and I'm going to attach this route to my workload VM. Sorry, this to VM2, and this will be residing inside the VM2. And this is that only one subnet is there. Okay. Now things are good, right? Let's just do one thing. Take that RDP, take the RDP of this VM2 and see if that domain and everything is resolving or not. First thing, right? I hope this will not resolve now, but we'll see. Connect. So I'm connecting to my internal VM. Open in CMD to check this out. And just wait to come up properly. Now do that ns lookup multi-ops.com. Okay, so it's not able to identify that, and I know why, right? Because that we created a private DNS zone, but have not added that VNet 2, their internal VM VNet on that private DNS zone. So let's just do one thing, create that link here. That's the question, I mean, we asked there, right? Go in a private DNS zone. There is a private DNS zone is there, right? And then inside that, you will get the virtual network link. There you need to add that VNet 2. There you need to add that VNet 2. So VNet 2. Right, enable auto registration, but let me do that, but I'm not going to do that, which means if any other VM is going to be added here, it's going to take that. Let me do that. VNet 1. Completed. Okay. I'll add another one, uh, which is my this one, VNet 3, which is firewall VNet. VNet 3. I'll not enable the auto registration. This will take some time, but click on OK now. Okay. So this is now. So what we done so far, let me show you all resources here. App gateway we created, app gateway public IP we created, we did that configuration. Azure firewall we created, Azure firewall policy we configured, right? We specify the gateway, we specify the policies there from VM1 to VM2 and VM2 to VM1. Azure firewall public IP we created. This traffic manager we created and added that endpoint of our Azure uh, uh, app gateway, right? Internal VM we created. Okay, if I'll copy this one, if I'll go in a traffic manager, there is an FQDN, the DNS name. Let me copy that and see. I should get the response. This C name should get resolved to my this response, which I'm getting it here. App server response. First thing, let's just check out this is working or not. Okay, this is working. But if I'll paste my this one domain here, that C name of Azure traffic manager. Yeah, see, from the Azure traffic manager also, I'm getting the response that I'm getting that welcome to my Azure training out there, right? Now, so which means this entire end-to-end flow, not to end from internal flow, from where the user, this actor coming it here, taking the lookup, right, from the public IP, I'm getting the response from the traffic manager to my app gateway to my workload VM, right, which is I'm getting it here, right? Now, I'll do one thing. I'll check from the internal also. Okay, so you guys tell me, if I have this, because this is not that way, right? I'm getting the response from my traffic manager C name, but I want that Moti Ops, which is there, right? Moti Ops hub.com. It should resolve from the internet. It should resolve from the internet. So what you need to do it there? It should resolve to my app gateway public IP. Anyone? What I need to do it there?
Either we have to work with third-party DNS providers, or we have to use Azure public DNS.
Exactly. So you need to do that DNS provider like GoDaddy, any third party, right? But let's say if I want this to my own local system, I want this laptop should resolve to public IP. Then what I need to do? This is for internet for everybody, right? But I want only my local system will do that. I mean, this is kind of jack I'm doing it here. But what we do in day-to-day practice also.
So the DNS server
You
will
need
be
to add
common.
etc record. etc record,
Exactly.
like you need to.
Right. You need to add that etc record. You need to add that host file entry. Right. So what I'll do, I'll add one host file entry. What this will be Moti ops. Right. This is for, I mean, what happened, how the DNS work. It's going to first look up to my etc file, that host file. If this record is existing, otherwise it's go for the cache, otherwise it's go for that name record, it's go for that external and all that, right? So first thing it's going for the host record, host name record. So I'm going to open my host file and I'm going to add that motiops.com resolving to what? Motiops.com resolving to what?
So demo party traffic manager.
No. Anyone? Anyone? Motiopshub.com resolving to what?
IP address of the traffic manager.
Traffic manager will not have any IP address, right?
Okay.
You're coming out there, but you're not exactly reaching out to the point. So Motiops resolving to what?
Public
Come on,
IP of that gateway, app gateway.
exactly. Exactly. Public IP of app gateway. You said traffic manager is nothing. Traffic manager will look for this public IP. All in all, traffic manager is resolving this public IP gateway, right? App gateway of public IP. Let's do one thing. Let's do that. Let's do that, right? Let's do that. So let me create a record for motiopshub.com, right? Motiopshub.com for resolving to this public IP. What is that? It's 20 197.34.324. So let me open that. So this is my hostname record. It will be, the file will be present in Windows, System32, driver, and then etc. Open this one. Go it here. I'm going to copy this host file into my desktop there. So I can modify it here. This is there, right? Let me open in a notepad. And then do that entry there. Do that entry. I'll do that entry here. I'll call that. What is that? My private IP, public IP address. Let me copy that public IP address. 20.247. Will be 20 dot. This is there. Then this is there. It is resolving to motiopshub.com. Okay, motiopshub.com. This is that resolving to this IP. Okay. Now, all it save. Let me see if this will work. So I save this file and I'm going to replace that desktop file from there. Again, copy this file from here. Let me hide this one. Copy this file, Control X, and then again go to your etc and then replace the file here. Okay. I'll just check once if I got the record here or not. The record is coming it here or not. Okay, so motiops.com is there, right? Let me close that and let me go on the internet. Check that. Instead of IP address, if I'm resolving to motiopshub.com, and I should be getting the, okay, now my domain is working, right? Now I'm getting that motiopshub.com. It is resolving it there. This web is not getting because the, so why this web is not, I'm able to access it? Anyone? I'm able to access my motiopshub.com. But why not web.motiops.hub.com? At the same time, although I created a DNS record, right, in my Azure, but why not I'm able to access this one? Anyone? Why I'm not able to access this one? It's very easy, right? If you pay the focus, you'll get it. Why I'm not able to access this web.motiops.com?
You need to add web also, no? Web as a record in the etc.
I'm sorry, your background noise is coming.
We need to
Okay.
add the web also in the etc record as well, right?
Web also, right? But the record which I've created it here, right? The record in my private, I created this record. Go in a DNS zone, added one record here, right? Added one record. This web. So this is not working there because this is private DNS zone. It should work from the VM2. If I'll try to access this from the VM2 also, let me do that. Open this one because this is private DNS zone, not the public DNS zone, right? Like the way we are doing it here. Then, and see if the traffic is going via firewall. If I'll be able to access, because no pairing is there, right? There is no pairing. We did it from here to there. No pairing from here to here. Pairing is only happening from here. I'm diverting this traffic for my workload VM via firewall. So if I'm able to access workload VM, which means my traffic is going via firewall. Let's do that. HTTP web.motiops.com. See, it is working now. Internally, web is working without no record. Now, I have not done any DNS entry. I have not done any host file entry here, but it is working, right? If I remove this web also, this web record is taking it from there, from my DNS zone. Sorry, I typed it wrong. If I'll do it there, and I'll show you, let's look up. web.motiops.com. See, it's resolving to 10.1.04, which is my private IP address of my other VM. So it means my traffic is now diverting via ping is not allowed, but let me show you that. Ping by default, Azure blocks the ping, but now my communication is also happening without any pairing, right? So sometimes it's happened if you're not getting the response from the ping. There is another tool which called PS ping. There is a PS ping is also there. You can use that PS ping. It's Azure native solution, PS ping, right? By default, Azure block the pings there, right? This is going via firewall. That's what it is allowed, right? By default, it is allowed. By default, it is blocked. ICMP is allowed because I allowed anything there. Right? Now you can see from the VM2, traffic is going via firewall to VM1. And now I am also able to access my, from the DNS zone, I'm getting this response and reaching out to the VM1, right? Now, if we'll go in one more steps there on my traffic manager and see what is the monitoring status. Because I also enabled that monitoring status. Is it online? So yeah, app gateway is also online here. App gateway is also online here. So we have entire thing. We have every expert coming here and we tested out the things from here and there. I also attached the route table. I also did that pairing. I also did that VNet subnet configuration, app gateway also, private DNS zone also, web policies also. Let's do one thing. Let's also do one steps more and block my public IP on my WAF level and see that if this is working or not. So what I'm going to do it now, I'm going to find my public IP. What is my IP address? Not detected. So it's 42.105.57 there. Let me go on my WAF. Let me go on my WAF. Where is WAF? It's there, right? Go in a WAF. Go in a custom rule. Add one custom rule. I'm blocking my block user. Okay. I cannot put that dash name here. Block user. Assigned priority as like 100. IP address, right? And IP address contain this IP, right? If this is the case, what I need to do that condition add deny or like what I'm saying it deny the traffic, right? Deny the traffic. Let me do that. Let me apply that. So I'm going to block my traffic, right, for that VM, for that via app gateway. So I should not be able to access my response, which I'm getting it here, right? Now let's do that thing. Wait for some time. This will take some time. WAF policy appended. Sometime will take some time to come in a picture. WAF is updated. We'll check in and okay. Why I'm not blocking it? Why my traffic is not getting blocked? Anyone? Can you see from this page? Even if I'll try it again, this will get allowed. See?
It will only detect and it will allow.
Exactly. Exactly. It is in detection mode. They just put in a prevention. Detection means you are finding out if I'm sending any problematic traffic there also, then also it's detecting it, but it's not doing anything. Right? It's just like a person which is
Warning.
behaving warning, right? It just exactly. Thanks for that. It's just warning you. Even for now, it's not giving me a warning because I do not enable that diagnostic settings here on my application gateway. So it's just identifying that, but diagnostic settings is enabled. And if you have that in detection mode, it's just going to detect it. Nothing is going to be doing there. Let me put that in a prevention. I'm putting in a prevention now. So let me put that and then we'll try to do it again, but this will take some time. Let me check if this is updated or not. See, forbidden error, 403 forbidden, which means your access is not allowed. And where I'm getting this response from application gateway. And why? Because my WAF is blocking this traffic from this custom rule. Got it? If I'll remove this rule here, if I'll remove this rule from here, remove custom rule, and then save it again, I will be able to get my access again. This forbidden error will be no longer. Just wait to see. Just trying it here. This is saving. Still 403. Now I'm getting that access back. So this is all about the demo architecture which we seen, right? Everything is there. Any doubt so far on this demo? This is that real world demo or real world architecture which you'll be seeing it there. There will be front door, there will be Kubernetes instead of VM, there will be function app instead of that, there will be work app, but that logic behind that, that everything routing and the network stuff which I did will be remain same. Now, one more thing what you can do, you can enable the Defender, Microsoft Defender, right? So that get the compliance and security or governance also. Azure policy is there, which we talked about. Azure Blueprint previously, which we talked about. Azure Defender for plant, Defender for container, right? And RBAC, how we can restrict that IAP gateway, I can restrict the traffic here and there using that RBAC, key vault, all the steps we are going to talk about. Any questions on this one, on the traffic which we built today, on that architecture we built today? Any question, guys, on this one? If you have it, feel free to ask. Otherwise, let's just jump to different topic. I'll do that cleanup here, and I'm getting everything in place. I'm getting not secure. Why? Why I'm getting the not secure? Anyone? It's very easy to answer, right? Why I'm getting this not
Certificate
secure?
is done.
Exactly. Certificate is not.
Self-signed certificate.
Yeah. So no certificate is there, right? Not even the self-signed. I'm using this HTTP traffic, right? Once I'll have that HTTPS, not I'll be having that HTTPS SSL encryption done. Right now, someone asked that question. Let me show you that. Someone asked that where exactly I can do that end-to-end encryption, right? So go in app gateway, I'll show you that place. In app gateway, in a listener, here, right? Open this listener. If I'll change this HTTP to port 443, it's not allowing me because this is the new one, which I already get it. Let me do that another listener and we'll show you. If I'll change it to HTTP, see it's asking to upload the certificate, and that certificate in a PFX format. It's asking me to upload that certificate in a PFX format, and then once you upload that, right, that certificate and the password you need to provide it, which you use during creation of that PFX certificate, right? And then you provide that. Now, one thing is happening from front end to that app gateway, SSL encryption is happening. What about the backend one? Let's go in a backend setting. Now with the app gateway v2, when I said CER, right? For app gateway to your backend server, you need to have the certificate in a .CER format. But if you're using that app gateway v2, correct? App gateway v2 here, what happened with that? If you are using a well-known signed CA certificate, like which all, DigiCert, VeriCheck, and what else are there? Some others are well-known signed certificate is there. If you are using a well-known signed certificate, you don't have to provide that backend app gateway with a certificate. But if you are not using that, like you are using some other signing authorities, right? Then you need to upload that certificate. Why this is happening? Can someone tell me? If I'm using a well-known certificate, I don't have to provide that certificate on my app gateway even I want to end-to-end termination, SSL encryption. Can anyone try on the guess? This is all networking experts, right? We're discussing security.
Because that root certificate and the other stuffs are already well known.
Exactly. The root certificate will already be a part of this app gateway setups, which we have it there, right? But if you're not using that, then you need to provide that root certificate. And one more thing, when you're doing that, always use full chain certificate. That's you guys are already aware about that, but I'm just telling you, full chain certificate. What does this mean? So full chain certificate contain the root cert, intermediate cert, and then what else? The CRT cert, which you have with that, a child cert, right? The domain cert, you can say. So you have doing C cert with the PEM key file or PFX key file or key file. You can get it any by PFX, PKIM, PEM forward key file. Use create a full chain certificate, right? So everything it's there. I tried to give communicate everything which like a person needs to have it there. Now let's do that cleanup and let's come back with some questions here, some interviews question. What I'll do, instead of going one by one resources, I'll just quickly select that demo RC, and then this will do everything. So we deployed many resources here. Okay, let me do that. Create resource group. Also, then this also, and this also. Try to do the setup, right? Try to do more configuration here. Try to do, instead of just putting we did many more object creation. We did I try to put every networking expert there, right? Route table here, and then peering is there. Now you do more experts. You do more experts, right? What more experts? Try to generate one self-signed certificate. I'll just give you one more idea. Trying to generate one self-signed certificate, right? And create one key vault. Upload that certificate in a key vault and ask that app gateway to take the certificate from the key vault, right? And use that listeners on the port HTTPS. Anyway, there are many more which you can do it, right? Many more things you can, or even for that, create the same replica in a DR region also. But you will not be able to do that. Don't worry, because free trial, you will not get that limitation of the public IP. But the DC, you can do that, right? So many more things you can do it there, right? And then try to see that how the things are working. As more as hands-on you guys are doing it, you'll be making yourself more confident. Now,
Sumit
instead
bhai,
of Mhm,
yeah. I have one question. You can take one empty notepad. Explain us like 5 minutes at least. So, for example, let's say it is a small startup and it has only 30 servers. We required only 30 servers, and they are building some application which require a web and SQL. So, what are the components required? And they have some very strict budget, but they still require some kind of security. So, what advice you will give for that company? So, what are the components will be there?
Okay, that scenario-based thing, right? This we'll cover
Yeah.
that in a scenario-based. We have that
Okay.
questions, right? But I'll
Okay.
take that if not covered there, right? I'll take it as separate. But yeah, so there are multiple things, Prakash, we need to think about that, right? What are the component you're going to involve the networking side? What are the component you're going to involve from that? So three-tier architecture, we commonly used to build it there, right? I'll tell you what is three-tier architecture is there.
Yeah, if we plan tomorrow, we can take it. Okay.
Okay, but today I have that question. We'll see it there, right? In that question. So if this is no question is here, let's move to there. So I came up with questions also. I tried to on that weekdays, I put it some questions which I generally faced it, and then along with that, I also have that questions which are like uh, I got it from that my research. There are very simple and then some scenario based also. Like we have some scenario based questions and then some theoretical based question also there, right? So I want you guys to participate, right, with full stuff. So we'll get answer and we'll make it more interactive this part here, right? But no worries if you're not sure about that. We are always here to understand each other, right? Yeah. So if I'll talk about it, and this is like very useful. If you trust me, if you are following it, right, it will be very useful. You will be getting that place somewhere, right? So let's see one thing. So first thing is, if anybody has any questions so far, what we have done, feel free to ask or paste it on the chat. And now, if we are discussing it further, there also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Its first question is, what is the difference between load balancer and traffic manager? A one-line answer will work for me. A load balancer and traffic manager. Anyone? Any guess? No one is aware about that. What is load balancer and traffic manager?
Uh, Load balance, traffic management does not follow any uh, traffic. I mean, it just only shows where to go. It doesn't um, participate in the
Mm-hmm.
routing decisions or something.
And
But
load balancer?
load balance, it it distributes the traffic.
Right. So the main difference is that, right, it does not take the part in that traffic flow, and then it's a it's a DNS load balancer, DNSLB, right?
Yeah,
However,
yeah.
this load balancer is capable of doing that port translation. I'm talking about the network load balancer, port translation, and distributing the traffic in a route robin way, the backend, right? These are the very simple question. These are very simple question which I asked. It's like uh, note of scenarios, and this you must have to aware about these things. How will you secure an Azure virtual network? If I have one virtual network, how can I secure that?
NSG.
Network security,
What else?
using network security.
What else? What else? Apart from that, there are multiple ways, right? Think about that. No worries. Like it's not like we're just trying to bring everyone on the same pace. So NSG1, you said. You said NSG1.
Yeah, yes,
NSG1.
yes.
That is NSG1 is good. That is good. What else?
DDoS protection.
Exactly. DDoS also one thing. Thanks for that. What else?
Azure Firewall.
Exactly. So firewall is also one thing because all these things is going to be happen. NSG, we are putting it inside that VM and subnet level, right? that happen inside that virtual network. So we are securing it. DDoS again going to happen on the public IP and the VNet level. So that is also we are securing it, right? Azure firewall also we are going to create it within a VNet to restrict the traffic here and there. And there is one more. If you take a focus on that,
Defender.
Defender for cloud, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And what else?
Policy,
What policy?
like we can create policies, right? To for the user
Policy,
restriction.
policy, I
This
can,
also come in secure.
policy,
Okay.
no, policy, Prakash, policy is there, but policy is for following the compliance and governance, right?
Okay.
It's following to is to follow the compliance and governance. There one more, right? Which you guys, I'm pretty much sure if I'll answer it, right? And
Service
I mean,
endpoints.
huh?
Service endpoints.
WAF. I think WAF.
DDoS, everybody, everybody's, I mean, someone asked that, but service endpoint, someone said, right? Service endpoint is to access, service endpoint is to access your PaaS-based service, platform service, right? You're not securing your private endpoint. You're not securing your VNet by this one. You have your platform like storage account, correct? Like web app,
So
right?
WAF, is it WAF?
WAF, yeah, WAF is also there. You can put it WAF for that app gateway. You're putting it app gateway for the WAF. What else? Tell me one thing, right? You have that on-prem connectivity and you have that VNet here and you have that VPN gateway, firewall is there inside that VNet, right? You have on-prem connectivity. So VPN gateway is also you're restricting the stubs, right? Only in testing subnet you're allowing it there. Or you're securing your VNet from the on-prem. How? From the Azure Firewall secure express out also. I mean, there also you can implement the security, right? You have that on-prem. You have that VNet here. You can use that VPN gateway to restrict the communication, only allow the interstate traffic. Or instead of VPN gateway, the same thing. Express route we can also do. Okay. So these all things, most of the answer you already given, but yeah, couple of things which we also can edit. Even I'm trying to do it. I also looking at the scenarios, I'm answering there. Right. So what is the purpose of Azure Application Gateway and how it's differ from the front door? Now you guys need to tell me this answer. Application Gateway, what is the main purpose of Application Gateway and how it's differ from the front door? And I'll tell you this is asked in many interviews. Application Gateway and front door difference and what is the purpose of Application Gateway? Yeah.
Application gateway works based on HTTP and HTTPS. It only works on HTTP and HTTPS.
You're giving a difference or you're telling that purpose of gateway?
Like application data is region specific. And
Yeah,
Front door is a global service.
global.
That's very good. Yeah, that's very, that's all. If you'll tell that, right? If you tell that in the interview will get to know, okay, you have that knowledge on that. And what else? That's very important difference you given. And what else? There are many more stuffs are there, right? Think about that. Think about that. Take your time. Venkat, you said, right, it works on the HTTP and HTTPS.
Yeah, yes.
So even front door also worked on the
So
18
front door is a
even-
combination of application gateway and traffic manager.
Exactly. So what capabilities I can do it here and what this will do? But this is you are I mean, if I'm saying it, it's a combination of two things, right? But what is
Yeah.
this combination will do? You need to tell me that, right? What this will do and what this will do. My question is this, and what is purpose of app gateway and how it's differ? You said front door is a combination of these two. But then what this will do, what this app gateway will do. You need to go back to my lecture and say it right and thoroughly. I told everything, all these things in my lecture. Okay, let me tell you that. App gateway is capable of doing that. App gateway is first thing, it's a regional, someone said. It's working like HTTP and 443. That is, it's all front door also going to work on that. But the purpose of app gateway, it's capable of doing that path-based routing and the URL-based routing. Even front door will also able to do that, but this is that capabilities. This is the main purpose, which will use for application load balancer. Application gateway used for the application load balancer, right? And I can do that SSL into an SSL termination also. Now here, it's a combination of app gateway plus TM, which means it's also capable of doing that, all these threats which we discussed. Along with that, it also able to do that DNS load balancer, DNS lookup. There is one more capabilities you get it with that front door, which you won't be getting it in my app gateway. What is that? That is CDN. You're going to get that content delivery network.
Content delivery.
You won't be getting in my app gateway. Okay, tell me one thing. Can I use both? If let's say from the internet, this person is there from the internet, I am using front door. And at the back end, can I use app gateway? Is it possible? Is it possible to use that? Yes or no, right? This is, I mean, you just need to give me the answer in yes or no. This is
Yes.
possible or not? It's possible, right?
Yes.
But what scenario? Can you, if you can give me that, that is okay. Otherwise, I'll tell you that.
I think globally manage the
Yes.
traffic.
You're near to that. If you are wanted to take that traffic globally, we can use that front door. But after taking that, you also want to do that in a regional based load balancing. Then use that app gateway. Right? Like there are some compliance also there. Like GDPR compliance is there, which say you cannot transfer that cross regional data. So that app gateway, you also need to put it there. Or then in some time, I use the scenario because my scenario was there at that time. My scenario was there that time. I was using this traffic from the internet. I was taking the traffic on the 443, and then from door to the app gateway, I was taking on the 444, and then the backend I was taking on the Kubernetes on 443. Why this is so? Why this is so? Because like previously, let's say this is my internal VM, right? This is my internal VM. What happened previously? Front door, right? That front door will not be able to, what I say? Sorry, not the front door. App gateway. Previously, what happened with that? App gateway will not be. I remember app gateway front end. It was long back, 4 to 5 years back or more than that. But it was an issue. You cannot have that. I think it was that front door. You cannot have that same listeners on the app gateway on the same port with the private and public. What I mean by that, this traffic which is coming from the front door, it is coming from the public, right? Because this is taking from the internet and then sending to the app gateway. And this VM is trying to, this VM, let's say this is my testing VM. I want that my traffic should go app gateway and then to Kubernetes. So if any issue is there, I will be able to identify on the Kubernetes internally, right? Then this is going for the internally. Then I need to create the listeners on 443 as a private IP and then this one for the public IP. But then previously app gateway, I think this is also the case today also. You cannot create that listener with the same FQDN. There is also XYZ that. There are also XYZ that. You cannot create the same listener on the same port, on the app gateway. You got my right? You got my issue here. So for that reason, I use the front door and I taken the front door on the port of 444 and here on port of 443, and then I send it back here on my app gateway, and then it's what reaching out to the Kubernetes. Okay, so the next question is pretty easy. What is the difference between Azure Firewall and Azure NSG?
You cannot do netting. I think in the energy layer 7 you cannot.
Firewall works on L3, L4, and L7 layers.
And NSG?
L3 and L4.
Yeah, it You can restrict the port and IP communication, that's it. You cannot do on the main thing on the NSE level, right? It bound and outbound communication there. But the firewall, you can do that URL filtering, you can do that enforcement profile application, you can do that uh, different IPS instruction, policy lookup, and many more things, right? You can do it. Okay. Now let's just do one thing. We'll discuss more stuffs tomorrow, right? On the networking experts. I'm gonna say these questions also, and there are some scenario based also which I've taken it there, right? And then we're going to do that. And also I try to find out some Azure diagnostic queries there, right? You see, these are the queries which I figure out which will be helpful for you guys to work it further. I'm going to say these also, right? And these are the some PowerShell command which I find out, which I'll be sharing it to you. So we'll discuss it tomorrow, and we'll see if tomorrow we'll be able to wrap it down with a 1 hour. That's good. Otherwise, we'll to extend it. But yeah, that's all for today.
Yeah, will you also discuss Azure Data Box?
Azure Databricks,
Data Box.
data box. You're saying data box, right?
Yeah.
No.
I think Sumit, this Hemu sir was is planning to take one class for this
Yeah. For the firewall.
Alto,
Yeah, for the
yeah,
firewall
Palo
deployment, right?
Alto over the cloud
Yeah.
deployment.
Yeah, he'll be taking it, but you need to ask that, right? I mean the schedule for that one. But he'll be taking that one
So we need,
session for the firewall deployment.
okay.
Yeah.
So in next coming weekend might be.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do one thing. I'll reach out to Sianet and we'll update you on that one, on the group, right? When he's going to take it there. He said he'll be taking it, but the schedule, I am not sure about that.
Okay, okay. Oh, no
Data
issues.
box,
I will. Yeah,
Vijay,
yeah.
what do you, Vijay, I think Vijay or Vilas, you
Yeah.
asked that, right? What is data box, you said?
Yeah, like if we want to transfer huge amount of data, so normally Azure Express route will be for less, like in MBs if you want to transfer. But if a huge amount of data in GBs need to be transferred, then we use data box.
Data box, that is, okay, that is for the data transfer you are saying it, right? For the, like,
Yeah,
let's say if I need to unstructured structured data to be transferred there, right?
yes,
That's all together is different. But express route and this VPN is what happened with this one, right? I mean, with that express route also, you are going to get it 100 gigs of top speed, right? But the VPN also, you are going to get some limitation, but there are different SKUs are there. You can transfer that data with that express route also, but the looking at the bandwidth, how much you're going for the more bandwidth, you need to pay more for that, right? But data blocks is altogether in different things, right? I thought you'll be saying it, the blobs is there. With the blobs also, you can do that 4 to 5 petabytes of data. And there is another there, which is like data lake. Data lake is also a storage account, but it's a very highly efficient. Like this is used for big data or for data analytics, right? Where you need to get the real-time data. Let's say you're using any AI, right? What happened with the AI? You need to get the real-time data. Then only you'll be doing that analysis. Then you can use the data lake, right? So there are many more things are there. Many more splits are there in the Azure itself. But we are diverting that stuffs. We are segregated these stuffs in two things, majorly focusing on networking and then security. I mean, there are, if I'll tell you, there are more than 100 stuffs which I am aware about the Azure, which I have not told you, right? But those are not related with these guys. So many more things is there, Vijay. Thanks for that. Uh, okay, so we are done with today, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Sumit. Bye.
Bye bye. Thanks.
Sumit sir,
Yes.
could you please share that PPT that you have created? So we'll get.
I think most of the class I already shared it on there on the drive, but for the remaining 3, 4 classes, I'll share it there.
Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you. Hit one. You asked one question there, right? You missed few classes there.
Yes, yes.
Classes and not sure to cover how to prepare the exams and what exams we can take. Yeah. So Exams, basically, if you're going to take that exams, right? Majority of that exams is going to be focused on easy 700 and the 500. 700 is for design and implementation of the network, right? You need to first get the expert on the design networking, and then 500 is for, I mean, during if all the session I talked a bit on all that, and 500 is for your security, Azure security engineer, right? So after that, if you're willing to go that, you can take that 700 and the 500 with more focus. Some of the topics like more topic networking side, you are pretty good, but on the security side, you need to take more topic on that AD level and some more topics there. Right, so you can opt by that way and you can go with that.
Sir, how much cost of that AG 700 and AG 500 certification?
I don't think it's higher, but yeah, you can. I mean, if I'll talk about that, I mean, both, I think within 10K INR, I mean, Azure do not have that much higher cost, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
very lesser cost. I mean, exact cost, I'm not sure about that. Let me see that. But like, I'm pretty much sure this both will be come within under 10K.
Okay.
AC 500 cost. See, it's 8200, right, for this one. What's that? Easy 5,000 you can reach from. But yeah, I mean, pretty much sure this is within 10,000. But similarly for 700 also.
So there is some prerequisite also, or we can go directly.
No, so I mean, see, in the exams, what happened? There are multiple questions they can ask, right? Some of the questions which if you read about that, then also that concepts and all that base. So I'll suggest go with the dumps first, right? Go with the dumps. Thank you. Thank you, Tuan. Go with the dumps and do as much as dumps you can look for that, because that's more better way. You'll be getting that